Hey guys, it's your best boxing friends. I'm Kelsey. This is Rachel, Mean Machine. This ain't who I want to see Terence Crawford fight, Rachel. That's what I'm trying to get to.
So what you're saying is, like, why isn't Terence Crawford being matched up with named opponents?
Anybody. Is there anybody for him to fight that isn't some obscure person that I've never...
Well, why is he not being matched up, or is there anybody for him to fight? Like, which one are you saying?
I don't know the question even. I don't know why Terence Crawford is... I mean, at this point, for me, Terence Crawford, I've long considered the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the sport.
But he's been kind of, like, just isolated.
Yeah, I mean...
from all, like, everything somehow. And I don't know. Like, I know in the past you've talked about Top Rank. That's his management team, right?
It's his promotional company.
Right, promotional company.
Yeah.
You've talked about Top Rank and their longevity across, like, you know, over the ages with the sport of boxing. But lately, I don't know.
I know. I read an article by somebody somewhere that it was Bob Arum talking about lists of future opponents for Crawford. That obviously discounts all the PBC fighters because, and because in the article it said, Earl Spence is hurt, that fight's off the table. They don't really, according to Bob Arum, now he's a promoter, so he's going to say whatever's best for him. The only PBC fighter, welterweight, he thinks would be a good fight for Crawford would be Sean Porter. Love that fight. It's probably not going to happen. But then, going on from there, it's more likely, it sounds like, you're going to match him against former 140-pounders, like the recently crowned unified champion, Josh Taylor, or the person he beat, Regis Prograis, or Jose Ramirez, right, who Bob Arum does also promote. Awesome, but Terence Crawford is the welterweight champion, right?
Well, like, he's just going to run through those guys. Like, I get for each of those guys, they would want that fight, and I get that. But for me as a fan, I'm just like, okay, so Crawford would just run. I've seen Crawford run through opponents. I'm done with that. I'm ready to see Crawford against other elite level competition because he can either run through them or he won't. You know what I mean?
I've already seen Crawford be the lineal lightweight champion, undisputed junior welterweight champion, and I see him now. He's got a welterweight belt, but I haven't seen him really fight elite welterweight. So who's the best welterweight he fought off the top of my head? Is it Amir Khan? I don't know. That's not a great look. That wasn't a bad fight. You know, Amir Khan's
but it's not like
one of the but even Amir Khan started his career way below welterweight. So I want to see him against another welterweight, and I want to be able to pronounce that guy's name. Now, I'm not saying...
ridiculous.
Now, I'm not being a culturalist here. I'm saying if Mean Machine had won as many fights and had been...
Oh, that you would know how to
I would know how to say his name. But I'm saying that he hasn't been built up enough yet to where I've been forced to learn how to say his name. No.
Well, I think that it's difficult because in some ways, even though I've taken issue with how PBC like markets its fighters, it is the bigger like marketing machine. So I feel like I hear a lot about, you know, their fighters, and, you know, everything was all about Spence, and then he got in that wreck. And I think now it leaves even more of a gaping hole that shines a light on the fact that, like, I hear almost nothing about Terence Crawford most of the time.
Yeah, so the ESPN definitely should be doing a better job of promoting Terence Crawford.
If they're the world...
They're the lineal world sports champion, right? Isn't it lineal important? Well, Terence Crawford is a really important fighter, I think. Well, here you go, Rach. Let's see if Rachel can pronounce this guy's name.
Oh,
have at it. It's
that's
easy.
That's
why we call him
Egidijus Kavaliauskas.
That actually sounds pretty... I mean, I don't know if that's even close to being correct. I call him Mean Machine because that's what I was taught. You know, but that's what we call him.
Where is he from?
I've seen the guy fight. I think...
Lithuania.
No, I was going to say Lithuania, but I was afraid I was going to get it wrong.
Fighting out of Oxnard, California.
Yeah, he's not a bad fighter, and I have nothing against the guy. I just don't think he would not get this fight in a system where there were other fights available. That's the whole point. Terence Crawford's supposed to be the number one pound-for-pound guy in the sport.
Just like in the heavyweight division, we want Joshua, Wilder, Fury fighting each other. Same thing with Terence Crawford. Like I want the fights, and yeah, I'll take Sean Porter. I just want fights. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about Terence Crawford's welterweight resume, right?
Okay.
You want to hear it?
Yes.
Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez, Amir Khan, and this guy is the next guy. That's a pretty poor resume at welterweight, Terence.
Well, it's like it's fine when you're coming into the division. But what you're saying is, we're ready for you to fight some.
Well, because I think, because we love you, TC. I think that Terence Crawford is like Floyd Mayweather. I think he's that good. Imagine if Floyd Mayweather fought Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez Jr., and Amir Khan 3 times in a row. Can you imagine that? Like, you would be just as
well, we just want
shredded.
more. So who can Terence Crawford fight, Kelsey?
I don't know. I don't know. And the frustrating thing about it is it's not. There's no one to blame really. Like, I'm not pointing the finger. Definitely not at Terence Crawford.
Taking away
Terence
all
Crawford
obstacles.
Right now?
Yeah, just the list of welterweights out there that minus obstacles, he could fight.
He could fight Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is coming back here within the next month or two.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Spence.
He's fighting Ivan Redkach in a fight that nobody wants to see.
Yeah.
Way worse than
he was prepared to fight Spence. Then can he fight Crawford?
No. That's but that's what I'm getting at. It's not Terence Crawford's fault.
Yeah.
The problem is that you've got these different promoters and promotion companies competing and trying to get their guys fight so their guys can make more money. I get it. I don't like it as a fan.
Eliminate non-PBC boxers so that they can eventually take over boxing.
Well, I think everybody.
If they just pretend know whether boxers exist. PBC.
I think all of them do that basically.
Well, Top Rank couldn't do that, right? Not
just because they couldn't
easily.
doesn't mean that they wouldn't want to.
I
think it's just part of the system. I think that he could fight Sean Porter. That'd be a great fight. I think Sean Porter always brings it. Sean Porter's always in great fights. Love Sean Porter. Would love to see that. Welterweight. Manny Pacquiao, obviously, but Manny's not going to take that fight. Manny doesn't want to fight either Crawford or Earl Spence, probably, and he probably shouldn't have to because he's 40 years old. I don't know. How about this? I'm going to pull something out of the air. Floyd Mayweather, you want to come back?
Okay.
Let's fight Terence Crawford, baby! I
don't need that.
He would never do that. Not because he's afraid of Terence Crawford, obviously. Floyd.
Well, wouldn't you say even
he wouldn't do that.
Keith, Thurman?
Yeah, Keith Thurman's another great example of somebody. Yeah, really good welterweight. But you see the problem.
What's the problem, Kelsey? I see you.
The problem is that those fights aren't going to be made because the promotional companies don't want to make the best fights. They want to make the fight that they can make that doesn't involve the other guy because they don't want to help the other promotional company make good fights.
Well, then I say that we just all put asterisks by their name for everybody that doesn't fight Terence Crawford.
But then you could say the same thing the other way. I'll tell you what. Let's just go watch the UFC.
Okay.
You know who UFC fighters can't fight? Not other UFC fighters. Now, I think the PBC wants to become UFC, right?
Yeah, didn't we talk about that on the show a while back?
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned what I mentioned.
I just don't think that they
PBC,
can pull it off.
And I had said on that show that was they don't have enough boxers to do that.
No, and there's a whole host of other problems that it seems like they have that we can talk about some other time, which makes me think they're not going to be successful.
But this show is all about Crawford, and we want him to fight other named opponents in the division. Yeah,
because I think at least, Terence Crawford has long been at the top of my pound-for-pound list. I want to see Terence Crawford do big things because I think he's a great fighter, and I'd love to see him get bigger and better fights so that he can make a lot more money and carve himself out a bigger piece of boxing history. Right.
Yeah. In the meantime,
carve out your own history by liking, commenting, and subscribing to Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel. Not every day can I bring my A game because sometimes I'm sick. Sometimes I don't feel good, and I just come in here and we just start gabbing about Terence Crawford. Don't hold that against us. Come back and see us again. Comment, we're always gonna get Rachel's A game, aren't you?
Maybe.
Aren't you? Tell him, Rachel. Tell him.
I mean, my A game is just whatever I bring. I can only do the best that I do.
This is my A game today.
Yeah. See?